Sushmita, we are live now. You're on mute.
Yeah. Should we start in 5 minutes?
We can start in a couple of minutes. That's okay.
Okay. In 2-3 minutes, we'll start.
हाँ विद्या वो देखो ना यार, वो मैंने भेजा था।
Atul, we are on live.
हाँ
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. So, good afternoon from India. I know few people from other countries have also joined in. And we are starting a very interesting webinar today, Bring Back the Dying Wisdom. So this will help us understand what is our traditional wisdom on focusing on droughts, water management, desertification, and it will be divided into two parts. The first part will talk about the key takeaways from COP16 UNCCD, and the second part we will have our eminent speakers talking about some of the solutions, some of the traditional wisdom used for water management. So we have some very good speakers today. So starting with Dr. M.S. Rathore, Director, Center for Environment and Development Studies, Jaipur. Then we have Dr. Rajesh Kumar Goel, Principal Scientist at Central Arid Zone Research Institute, Jodhpur. And then we have Popat Rao Baguji Pawar, former Sarpanch of Hivre Bazar, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. So we will be talking about our traditional wisdom. We will be talking about our water management. And so while talking about it, obviously we can actually use some of our Hindi phrases because we will be carried away and we will be emotional about our own tradition. So if anything is coming in Hindi, please keep a watch on the chat box. My colleague will be actually putting down the salient points. Two of my colleagues have also joined, Swati and Bhatia and Pradeep Kumar Mishra. So they will be helping us in actually putting down the salient points, which will help us understand about India's water management and traditional wisdom. So let me share a small presentation which will give us a good understanding of unwrapping the key takeaways from COP16 UNCCD. I hope everyone can see the presentation. Sukanya, is it visible?
Yes, Sushmita, it's visible. You can carry on.
Okay. So we will be unwrapping the key takeaways of the droughts and the desertification that has happened in COP16 UNCCD. So as you know, this COP16, the 16th session of COP actually took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in December, between December 2 to 13. And it was basically, we were actually focusing on land restoration, drought resilience to be integrated in the national policies and international cooperation, and focused on bringing the food security and climate adaptation. And this is the first COP UNCCD where a national, actually a first action agenda actually was framed along with the negotiation track. And why was this done? So that we get a very good outcome of the formal negotiation. So this helped the non-state actors also to come into the picture and contribute to the action agenda. So before I go on to the details of what happened and what were the other consensus, so I'm first going to talk about some of the very important publications that actually came out, that actually was launched during this COP16. And I will focus on 2 to 3 very important publications that actually were launched during this COP16. And first of it was the World Drought Atlas. If we talk about the World Drought Atlas, so we see that the atlas actually brings out that India tops all other countries in the world in actually having people connected to agriculture. And the number, if you can see, is 25 million people. So if there is a drought, if there is a mismanagement of water, which will affect the crop yield, then 25 million people will be affected. The atlas actually brings in the point of day zero in Chennai in 2019. And we also heard of the day zero in Bengaluru very recently. And this atlas is talking about day zero in Chennai in 2019, and very clearly states that drought is not only a natural phenomena, but it is also man-made. A city like Chennai, which receives more than 1400 millimeter of rainfall annually, actually faced this day zero. And this happened in spite of the fact that Chennai is very well known for its lakes, for its water bodies. And also we know in early 2000, rainwater harvesting was made mandatory in the city. But the lack of implementation of the legislation and rampant urbanization, unplanned urbanization which took place all across the city, the concretization which took place actually did not allow natural recharge of the groundwater. As a result, there was the plunging of the groundwater level. So this was brought out very significantly by the Atlas. And another very important data about India and sub-Saharan Africa that came out in the Atlas is the hub of riots. Between 2020 and 2023, India actually topped all other countries in being the hub of riots and tensions due to mismanagement of water. And sub-Saharan Africa is also very close by. Then let me talk about another publication that was launched, which was launched by the Science Policy Interface, the UN body for assessing science. And this is called the Regional and Global Heredity Trends and Future Projections. This also gave us globally what is happening on desertification and drought. And very, data that has came out is made all of us worried about the whole situation, because it says that 77% of the land is experiencing a drier condition. and which means that drylands expanded over 4.3 million square meters. What is 4.3 million square meter? 4.3 million square meter is almost 1/3 of the area of India. So we can understand the huge dry land which we are actually seeing all across the continents. Surprisingly, these arid areas, according to the publication, is actually classified as humid regions previously. So why is this happening? The report clearly mentions the intervention of the anthropogenic cause. Means we, the human beings, are causing it to dry up, causing the soil moisture to go down, causing the groundwater to go down. And we also see 67% of the global land will be losing its water by 2100, which is a very worrying figure. And we are seeing that the people living in these dry lands actually doubled in just 3 decades. It is 2.3 billion in 2020, while it was only 1.2 billion in 30 years before. So this is a very worrying figure. Now, how much money do we need? The report clearly mentions that we will be needing almost $1 billion in daily investment between now and 2030 to bring back the land, to combat land degradation, to combat desertification and drought, which is huge money. So there is an urgent need of private sector engagement, says the COP16. Now the solution lies in the National Adaptation Plan. And both aridity and drought planning should be part of these national adaptation plans if we want to tackle the water and land management issues. Now, consensus which were taken during COP16, very interesting consensus, and India actually is one of the parties of this COP16, as you know. There were consensus on caucus for indigenous people. Clearly, it came out that community should be at the center of all the solutions. And it also came out that traditional wisdom should go hand in hand with the modern technologies to bring back the to combat drought, to bring back the soil moisture, to raise our groundwater level. And so two consensus, caucus of indigenous people and caucus for local communities, were taken so that we can combat desertification and drought. Another very important decision that was taken is the role of the science policy interface. Because the science policy interface, they give us the data, they show us where is the problem, what can be the solution, and the data at the end of the day can help us in strengthening science-based decision. And the third point is the involvement of the private sector. Now, coming to the, now we have discussed the world figures. Now let's see where India is standing. India is also facing the heat of desertification, facing the heat of drought. And if you can see the first point, which shows that between 2011-13 and 2018-19, almost 1.45 million hectare area was converted into a dry land, or desertification happened across this, which is 0.4% of our area of the country. And as a result, almost we can see there was 35 billion USD which was lost due to land use pattern change or degradation of land. A very current 2024 government report shows that most of the districts which is actually marked as very high and high drought risk category, is in the states of Bihar, Assam, Jharkhand, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal, and most of the states, major states of India. And if you can see, some of the states actually receive high rainfall also. So this is coming out that drought is not a natural phenomenon. It is also about the mismanagement of water. So very quick questions before I go to the experts, asking them about the different situation, asking them about the rainfall variability, asking them about the solution. So are we ready to bring back the community-centric traditional wisdom? We have a huge list of programs and schemes which talks about rejuvenation of our water bodies, which talks about increasing our soil moisture. It talks about restoring back our water bodies, replenishing our groundwater levels. We have heard of MGNREGS, Atal Bhujal Yojana, NMCG. We have talked about Amrit Sarovar. Our recent book, Back from the Brink, brings like 25 potential programs which actually rejuvenated the water bodies at central and state levels. So, and we have also checked that 1.5 lakh structures has actually been implemented for drought proofing under MGNREGS. So can we take MGNREGS as a potential funding source to combat drought? And what can be the other potential programs? So with this, I stop my presentation and come back to the experts. So the first question is to Dr. Rathore. Dr. Rathore, you have been working in the eastern part of Rajasthan. And in the coming years, due to climate change, we are going to see some changes in rainfall. Can you please let us know what will be the rainfall like, number of rainy days like, and what will be its effect on the groundwater?
Actually, I do work in whole of Rajasthan, but Eastern Rajasthan is very near to my office, so naturally we have worked on these districts also. The question is the rainfall variability. Rajasthan is known for rainfall variability. In 7 years, there are five drought years almost, and one good year and one medium year. Every third year is a drought year, second year is a drought year, and drought it fluctuates. And whole of Rajasthan is surprisingly in your list. I didn't find Rajasthan as a problem emerging as a drought. I don't know why. But Rajasthan is known for droughts, recurring droughts. Now, the droughts, the nature of droughts are different. There are many types of droughts. So we are talking of where crop failure is there. And that is the drought which is more of concern. Or a drinking water security is a question, then there is a drought. So in particularly Eastern Rajasthan, which is having the large number of maximum number of river basins. So drinking water is not a big problem there. For agriculture, and whatever problem we face is because of over exploitation of groundwater by farmers for irrigation. Despite large number of dams of different size, large, medium, and minor dams are there, yet there is a problem of water availability, which is mainly because of one, the mismanagement of the structures, the irrigation structures. Second is uh, the encroachment and the way the population is increasing and commercialization is going on, industries are coming up, roads and other infrastructures are coming up. Mostly the catchment areas are affected by that. So dam are not being fully filled by one is the variability, means if there is a good rainfall only in 1 or 2 years, in 5 or 7 years, then and naturally the dams will never be full. So that is a big problem. As far as the traditional structures are concerned, in this area, uh, also there is a big change in the rainfall, nature of rainfall. Earlier, if we see in Rajasthan, the monsoon used to start from the northeast area, and south and northeast, that area. Now it is even Barmer, Jaisalmer is observing initial rainfalls during monsoon season, which I remember Anil Agarwal came and when Dying Wisdom was written, that why we are greening desert through Indira Gandhi Canal, this will definitely change the whole monsoon pattern, and which we are realizing also. And maybe Arabic Sea is no more active, so this climatic change. Second thing is that there used to be widespread rains earlier. Now, in fact, there is a problem. Now there are more sporadic rains, and that too either very intense. So it's a groundwater recharge doesn't take place, and then also watershed. Despite a lot of investment in watershed programs, we didn't get much success over that because those structures have become problems, like a lot of anicuts and others. So the flow of river uh, flow has been affected by that. So that is also a problem. I think there is a major change in terms of availability of water, variability of water, and management of water in the eastern districts, particularly. Though there is a lot of efforts by NGO, which are in the last question, I will reply about that. But
we'll come to that question. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Rathore, for letting us know the variability in the rainfall. That report is as per the government 2024 report. Means I was also surprised not to find Rajasthan on the list. So going from eastern Rajasthan to western Rajasthan, where we see the desert. So we come to Dr. Goel, principal scientist at Kazri. Dr. Goel, what do you think? How will Western Rajasthan be impacted by the climate change in terms of number of rainy days or the rainfall in the coming years?
Good afternoon to all. Let me tell you that Western Rajasthan is not different than the Eastern Rajasthan. In fact, we are having more problem compared to Eastern Rajasthan. In Western Rajasthan, overall rainfall is slightly less than the Western Rajasthan. If you see the overall average, it is around 360 millimeter for the Western Rajasthan, whereas for Eastern Rajasthan, it is more than 500. So in terms of rainfall, we really have very little rainfall. And we have studied the data of last 40, 50 years of Western Rajasthan. Definitely there is a change. We are seeing a change in terms of climate change. You can say it can be a climate variability or you can say climate change, but there is a change. What is change? Change is that now we are observing more intense, more extreme events in this region. Means if there is a drought, that means absolute drought. And if rainfall is there, it's a very good rainfall, very good rainfall. So I think that in climate change regime, we are having more opportunity for rainwater harvesting. The reason being is that intensity of rainfall has increased since last many years. We are observing more intense rain with less duration. That means there is a scope for rainwater harvesting in this region, number one. And number two, rainy days. Rainy days are, it's about 20 days, almost average 20 days in this Western Rajasthan. They are a little bit decreasing on the trend, decreasing trend, because rainfall is same, but the intensity is more, events are less. So we are getting the same water in few events, and there is a scope for more scope for rainwater harvesting. We can have more water. And as far as in Western Rajasthan, and we have to find some suitable places where we can collect those excess water for a groundwater recharge. So that can be a scenario for the Western Rajasthan. And we need more structures to capture those intense rainfall in this region. And I can say that overall rainfall magnitude is not changed, but its pattern has changed. We are having more events, intense event, and they generate a lot of runoff, and they also cause soil erosion also. So we have to check that also. So I think in terms of the climate change, there is a lot of more scope for rainwater harvesting in this region.
Thank you, Dr. Goel. So the point that you are trying to make that the number of rainy days have decreased and we are having intense rainfall, and it's time that we catch this rain runoff like our ancestors used to do, so that we have a better options for combating the droughts and desertification. तो हम लोग जाते हैं पोपट राव जी के पास. पोपट राव जी जो ऑलमोस्ट अ मैजिशियन, हिवरे बाजार के जो एक रेन शैडो एरिया अगेन जहाँ पे बारिश बहुत कम होती है, and so we get a very little rainfall in the rain shadow area of Ahmednagar, and Hivre Bazar is one of them. And so पोपट राव जी, आप ये बताइए, ये जो आपने जो ये जो मैजिक किए हैं हिवरे बाजार में, और आपने जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम को यूज किए हैं, आपका ये जो जर्नी रहा कि एकदम हिवरे बाजार जहाँ पे पानी नहीं था एवं बिल्कुल जो होल जर्नी रहा, ये थोड़ा सा हमें थोड़ा सा शॉर्टकट में बताइए.
मैम नमस्ते. सेंटर फॉर साइंस एंड एनवायरनमेंट हिवरे बाजार से काफी कनेक्ट है. स्वर्गीय अनिल अग्रवाल जी से लेके सुनीता मैम, और अभी आपके साथ आज इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में मैं वर्चुअली ज्वाइन हूँ. मैं 1989 में सरपंच बन गया था. तो एक गांव ऐसा था कि बिफोर 90 ह्यूमन माइग्रेशन था. जो लोग गांव छोड़ के शहर पलायन करते थे क्योंकि भूख और प्यास. तो उस वक्त महाराष्ट्र स्टेट एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम से हम लोगों ने जो प्लान डिजाइन किया वो 26 जनवरी 90 को, कि आगे के 5 साल में हमें ये सारी समस्या का हल ढूंढ के हमें एक आत्मनिर्भर गांव बनाना है. जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम से ही लोगों ने काम करना शुरू किया, उसको एफॉरेस्टेशन पहले टॉप पे काम किया, रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट, ग्रेजिंग लैंड, विलेज पंचायत और प्राइवेट हिलॉक्स, इस तरह से प्लानिंग किया. तो रोजगार भी गांव में मिला लोगों को, और जंगल भी हुआ, सॉइल कंजर्वेशन भी हुआ, वाटर कंजर्वेशन भी हुआ. और इसके लिए हमने कुछ डिसिप्लिन किए थे ग्राम सभा से. पहला एक तो था ओपन ग्रेजिंग बैन था. नंबर 2, पेड़ रूट से काटना उसको बैन कर दिया. ट्यूबवेल को बैन कर दिया हमने. They use only for drinking water, not allowed for irrigation. Irrigation purpose they use dug wells. सीजनेबल क्रॉप लिया हमने. और एक तो हमारा एरिया है ड्राउट प्राउन एरिया में आता है, जो 200-300 एवरेज रेट.
पोपट राव जी, आपका नेट थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है.
तो अंडर बिलो पॉवर्टी गांव था. तो वही काम जब स्टेट एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम का प्लान करके किया, तो लीडरशिप पंचायत की थी, भागीदारी लोगों की ग्राम सभा से थी, और कन्वर्जेंस है. स्पेशल फंडिंग नहीं, कारपोरेट फंडिंग नहीं, एमपी एमएलए फंडिंग नहीं, सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की जो स्कीम्स है वो उसको ही हमने इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच से लोगों की जन भागीदारी से इंप्लीमेंट किया. और आज के दिन पॉवर्टी लाइन 0 है, हमारी पलायन 0 है.
ठीक है, ये बाद में आएंगे, डेटा पे बाद में आएंगे. So Popat Rao ji actually, with the help of the central and the state scheme in an integrated way, he has actually designed a framework to help this village move out of its water crisis. And also it's since they have banned tubewells, only kept it for drinking water purpose, and also planned the crops according to their whatever water was available to them, they actually managed to become from a water scarce village to a water prudent village. Now coming to Dr. Rathore again. So what are the solutions you think are suitable for Eastern Rajasthan to combat drought? And also tell us what is the role of community in this? Because you have seen that in COP16, UNCCD, they always tell that communities will be at the center of all the solutions. And are the communities involved in this watershed projects? Just like Popat Rao ji has said that they have actually put together the central and the state schemes together to actually combat drought. Please let us know what is the role of the communities, and are the watershed projects, when they are planned, are the communities a part of it?
Let me put like this, that there are four major issues in managing water in the eastern region. First one is that groundwater overexploitation is the issue, and it is mainly for irrigation. Second is there is a high rainfall variability, and the nature of rainfall has changed. So we cannot help, that is a nature's given thing. Third thing is, despite large number of river basins and the different irrigation water harnessing structures, ranging from small, medium, and large, and I can give you the number also, very interesting one, that in total, almost in around Jaipur, the minor dams are like in thousands, and the major dams are around 15, 16. Medium dams are around 50. So this is the number of dams which are available in the 9 river basins around in the eastern part. Unfortunately, the third thing is, when you talk about the solution, there can be role of, one is the role of the government, and second is the people. So in terms of whenever government intervention is there, that is mostly through engineering solutions, either construction of large structures or canals or pipelines and all those things. And there are also urban areas. So the urban water supply is also a big problem in this area. Therefore, the solution, when we say from government side, there is a big project coming up, the interlinking of rivers, which is called ERCP, Rajasthan Eastern Canal Project, which is harnessing the surplus water which is coming from Madhya Pradesh to Rajasthan, and then through lifting or through pipes and putting in different dams, and then taking to Jaipur and other places where they want to solve the drinking water crisis as well as increase area under irrigation. So that is the engineering solution which was highlighted for last 10 years. It is more a politically motivated. There are a lot of crises. It is a 40,000 crores of project for a longer period of time. In short run, the major problem is that these dams are not being managed properly, because the water user associations are not that effective. So the major water which goes to 80-85% of water goes for irrigation, agriculture use. And if water user associations are not being involved or not active, then you can see that the people's participation, what is there. As far as drinking water is concerned, there are large number of traditional structures which were there. But unfortunately, as if we look into our constitution, there is one provision that right to live. Under that, water supply is considered to be the responsibility of drinking water supply as a responsibility of the state. And people have now almost thought of that it is the responsibility of the government. Why should we care for the structures which were supplying them drinking water for generations? NGOs like Rajendra Singh, this Tarun Bharat Sangh, and a lot of other NGOs, they try to again motivate people that you cannot depend on state alone. You have to participate. But that is and they have regenerated large number of structures, also constructed new structures. But basically, it depends on this part is special in terms of geohydrology, means the topography, because it is a hilly area, and between hills there are flatlands, and there the geohydrology is such that recharge is possible, quick recharge is possible. So geoformation is very important, topography is important. So making use of that, the traditional structures were designed based on that geohydrology, and they were very successful, which Rajendra Singh also tapped that and tried to build a large number of structures, and at least could ensure drinking water security in that area. So that is the basic thing. And as far as watershed program is concerned, there was not much people's participation in that, and that's why unfortunately it failed, because it's a hilly area, and people try to overexploit the forest lands. And there are many wildlife sanctuaries in this area, also eastern parts, like Siriska is one, Swai Madhopur, and Kota. So all these restrictions are there. Still, the forests are being denudated. Deforestation is going on, particularly because of the mining, because most of the minerals are also available in Rajasthan, and these are in hilly areas. So mining is also rampant uh, for minerals as well as for construction of buildings, the stones. So this is the state of affair in the eastern Rajasthan.
Okay. Sir, what we understand is the traditional structures which were once designed according to the geoformation of the area is not taken care, and water use association also not active. That is, so you are concerned about how the traditional wisdom is not being taken care by the communities, as I understand.
Yes.
Talking about the solutions, because I see that many questions on the solution part. So Kazri has been helping the communities in improving the traditional technologies, improvising whatever was there, like the takas in the western Rajasthan. Can Dr. Goel, can we please request you to tell us how Kazri is working on these traditional technologies, and whether the farmers, like in the last one decade, how they have actually adopted this technology, and what are the benefits they are getting out of it?
Rainwater harvesting is key to survival in the arid areas, and Kazri is helping farming community for enhancing their livelihood through technological interventions like availability of improved seeds, plants, nursery, capacity building, weather advisory, and field demonstration and tradings to farmers. Presently, Kazri has many projects and funds received from central government and other agencies for a specific task. In the recent past, Kazri has completed project on DST, NABARD, ICARDA, and Farmers First project. Few projects are still going on, and we have constructed many structures of rainwater harvesting through these funds. And we have recently constructed 2 farm ponds of 5 lakhs and 18 lakhs liter capacity. It's a big pond, 5 lakhs and 18 lakh capacity through NABARD. Then we have constructed 2 ponds under ICARDA project having 44 lakhs liter capacity. Similarly, under TSP, we have constructed a lot of small takas in the farmers field. Then we have National Wasteland Development Board project. Under this project, we have constructed takas at farmers field. So, in fact, we have constructed a lot of water harvesting structures in different areas of arid zone through fund received from the central government. And let me tell you that taka is a key to survival for every farmer in this region. Every farmer has 1 or 2 takas. There can be 2 types of takas. One they keep for their drinking purposes, that is near to their home. And other is for rainwater harvesting for their fields. So I think every farmer has a taka in their field. We have provided the improved design of taka for the farmers. And under Rajiv Gandhi Drinking Water Mission, the kind of tanka they are constructing, the design has been made by the Kazri only. And we are providing all kind of training to farmers. Farmers used to come at our office, and we provide them, we build the capacity building for construction of tanka. And that way, I think drinking water is at such not a problem for this season by having a lot of tankas. And every farmer has this kind of tankas.
Sir, what is a special Kazri is inputting into the design of this tanka so that they are becoming more sustainable?
Usually, it is very easy to construct square tanka, you can say rectangle tanka. But the life of rectangle tanka is very less because it sometimes cracks from the corners. So we recommend to farmers, go for a circular tanka. Circular tanka, its design is, it requires less cost and its life is very high. It's very long life is there. So we say to farmers that go for a circular tanka rather than a rectangular tanka, number one. Number two, we have designed the diameter and depth. It should be optimum. You can't go for a deeper depth because if you go for deeper, then you need more material for construction. And if it is too shallow, then you need more area for covering those things. So we have optimized the diameter and the depth of tanka, and it's almost same that whatever diameter you have, you can keep the same depth also. So that way we can optimize the design of tanka. It should be circular. It should be covered. Then it should have a hand pump at the top to take water. So that way its design is improved.
Okay, sir. So पोपट राव जी, अभी आप ये बताइए, अभी जो आपने कम्युनिटी सेंट्रिक सोल्यूशन के बारे में आपने बताया, आप अभी जो सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन है कि कितने लोग, आप बोल रहे थे कि रिवर्स माइग्रेशन हो रहा है, पहले माइग्रेशन हो रहा था, फिर आप बताइए आपका क्रॉप का क्या यील्ड बढ़ा और वाटर का क्या स्थिति बना, ये सब बताइए। और ये भी बताइएगा कि अभी आप MGNREGA फंड को यूज कर रहे हैं और कैसे यूज कर रहे हैं?
नहीं मैम, अभी तो MGNRA का कोई यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं, जीरो है। क्योंकि अभी हमने जो काम किया स्टेट एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम से, अफॉरेस्टेशन, सॉइल कंजर्वेशन, वाटर कंजर्वेशन, तो जब ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल बढ़ गई, बैंक सपोर्ट हो गया, डेयरी डेवलप हो गई, तो जो लोग गांव छोड़ के शहर गए थे, करीब 70 परिवार जो परमानेंटली गए थे, वो रिवर्स माइग्रेट होके गांव में आ गए। और सीजनेबल करीबन 4 महीने के लिए तो 100% गांव माइग्रेट होता था, और आज जीरो माइग्रेशन है। और आज गांव में अगर 300 mm रेनफॉल है तो गांव में करीबन 700-800 फार्म लेबर आउटसाइड डिस्ट्रिक्ट से हमारे गांव में आ जाते हैं। ये सिचुएशन है।
और ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल आपका जो है, और बैंक अकाउंट के बारे में बताइए, आपका क्रॉप
और आज हम अभी 9 लाख रुपए पर फैमिली पर ईयर जो इनकम है, तो 9 लाख से ज्यादा है। और भारत सरकार तो डबलिंग ऑफ फार्मर इनकम, एग्रीकल्चर इनकम, तो हमारे गांव में 5 गुना इनकम बढ़ा है। जो गोखले इंस्टीट्यूट ने जो सर्वे किया, उसमें जो देखा तो अभी 91 मिलियनियर है गांव में, और जो एग्रीकल्चर इनकम भी बढ़ गया, और पॉवर्टी लाइन जीरो है। अभी माइग्रेशन जीरो है, पॉवर्टी लाइन जीरो है, और अभी हम एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करके प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं आउटसाइडर को।
अच्छा।
और इसमें शुगर केन नहीं, पोमोग्रेनेट नहीं, ग्रेप्स नहीं, सीजनेबल क्रॉप ही है, और ज्यादातर डेयरी डेवलप हुई, और ज्यादा डेयरी डेवलप होने के कारण अभी मोर देन 5000 लीटर पर डे मिल्क कलेक्शन है हमारा। और डेयरी डेवलप हुआ, इसका कारण एक है सॉइल हेल्थ भी अभी काफी अच्छी, और देश का पहला कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन और सीडीमेंट लॉस का पहला सेंटर मेरे गांव में, जिसे हमारा लोकल नॉलेज था। जो पंजाब की हालात हमने 75 साल में देखी, आजादी का अमृत काल मना रहे, आज ग्राउंड वाटर क्या है, वहां का ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल क्या है, सॉइल हेल्थ क्या है। और ज्यादा आमदनी के कारण जो नशा आ गई उड़ता पंजाब और लाल सिंह चड्ढा जैसी फिल्म, तो हमने वही किया, किचन फॉर हेल्थ पे काम कर रहे हैं अभी हम। कोई डॉक्टर की जरूरत नहीं आज हमारे गांव में। और पहले ह्यूमन माइग्रेशन था, अभी साउथ अफ्रीकन माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स हमारे तालाबों के ऊपर आ जाते हैं। अभी खाली टाइगर आना बाकी है। इको सिस्टम इतनी बैलेंस हो गई, लियोपर्ड तो कॉमन हो गया गांव में, और वो गांव में परेशान नहीं करता, क्योंकि जंगल में मोर देन 10 लाख ट्री प्लांटेशन है हमारा। जो फॉरेस्ट है, ग्रेजिंग लैंड है, प्राइवेट हिलॉक्स है, वहां भी, और जो लोकल वैरायटीज है, देसी वैरायटीज के। और अभी गवर्नर विजिट करने आ रहे हैं।
ठीक है,
गार्डन बनवाए। तो इस तरह से जो इम्पैक्ट है, खाली डिसिप्लिन, सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन है। ट्यूबवेल बैन, मोर वाटर इंटेंसिव क्रॉप्स को बैन किया, और फुकट लेना नहीं। गवर्नमेंट का जो फुकट है ना, हम प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना का मकान भी फुकट से नहीं लेते, खुद कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, तो क्वालिटी का बन जाता है।
जी जी।
और बिजली का बिल भी अभी 0 पे है हमारा।
जी जी। Then we come back to Dr. Rathore. Sir, please tell us how the state, what according to you, how the state policies and programs should look into the rejuvenation of the traditional structure, जैसे boweries, quays, lakes and water bodies, so that we can have a sustainable drinking water source in the coming years, sir. You're on mute.
One has to look very pragmatically that can we really now depend on the traditional sources or not? Reason being that depth of water level has gone so down that these structures are defunct. They were based on the weathered zone percolation. So most of them are now out of use unless you recharge so much that they become rejuvenated again. The water comes in there. So that is one thing. Second thing is, which is a constitutional problem. Actually, the whole management of water resources is being state subject, and in the state now panchayat is responsible for these local structures. Panchayat has to manage, maintain, rejuvenate, whatever through Manrega. And the good thing is that government has now put a clause that you cannot have any other work than water conservation work under Manrega. We had done one project for GIZ in Jodhpur, where we identified more than lakh activities for rejuvenating large number of water bodies in the district. And that has in fact worked there. There is still, because the groundwater is brackish and there is a hard pan there. So water impounding structures are there. Here it is a different story in eastern part. It is there is no hard rock there, but there are more fault and fractures, and recharge is easily possible. And the example is that this year, when there was a high rainfall, surprisingly, the water table rose from 10 to 15 meters. So immediately, so that is there. But unless and to regulate that water, I think there is a need to change the agricultural policy. What crop you take, cropping pattern has to be changed. One is, or if not, then at least the technology for irrigation has to be changed. So that is one way how to conserve water in agriculture. That is basically. Now, as regard the traditional structures are concerned, people's participation is possible only on johats and khadins, which are johats and talais and other small nadis are there, which are mostly used for drinking water for animals, domestic animals, and also wildlife. So that part is very important. So drinking water need from ecosystem point of view, there are large number of birds and wildlife and other things. So for them, I think these structures, traditional structures, are very, very important. So, but they are not impounding structure. They are all recharging structure. So unless we take care, when the people take care of these structures, it won't be able to survive. So NGOs are motivating people. I know large number of NGOs working in this area, even in the Dahang area where water is a big problem. So there is a hope. But Manrega is a very important component program of the government to rejuvenate this. But we cannot, like Abaneri Bavdi, now you cannot rejuvenate it, because the water table has gone much beyond that. Despite like Dosa, where if you see groundwater exploitation everywhere, most of the blocks are dark zone in this area. Overexploitation is there, and to the extent like in Jaipur, 225%, Karoli 158%, Alwar 182% overexploitation, Dosa 233, which is the middle part of this area, 233% overexploitation. So unless we stop this overexploitation, there is no scope for traditional bodies to play any significant role. Of course, there are some local bodies which are still existing, and people are caring for that, and mostly for their animals, domestic animals, because area is known for buffaloes. Milk production is a the dairy policy, government policy is encouraging keeping of buffaloes, rearing of buffaloes, and it's very remunerative from the income point of view. So water for them, you cannot because dams are far away, and for local needs you need the traditional structures. So that is the only thing.
Okay, sir. So as I understand, you identify MGNREGA as a very potential source. So I move to Dr. Goel. Dr. Goel, can you please tell us how this MGNREGA fund, do you find this a potential source, or you find some other policies or programs can be more potential, which can help in this water and soil conservation?
MGNREGA has a very important role in the water conservation. The main water conservation structures we used to construct in watersheds are normally pond, nadis, and all those things. And pond is a very important water harvesting structure in arid areas. A considerable quantity of silt is deposited every year in these structures with runoff. Thereby, it reduces the capacity of those nadis. So these water bodies can bring back to full capacity by desilting them with the use of NREGA labor. So NREGA can be effectively used for desilting of those pond and nadis. Similarly, we recommend construction of takas. It has around 50% labor component. So these NREGA labor can be used for digging of those takas. 40% they can contribute in terms of excavation, and remaining cost can be borne by the owner. So they can be effectively used for construction of taka. Similarly, khadeen it's a very prominent structure in this region, and we used to take rabi crops during in the kharif season, and this is a location structure. But if location is available, those NREGA labor can be used for construction of earthen dams, which is required for this khadeen. So they can effectively use for khadeen. In fact, that is the only work NREGA labor can do in this region for water harvesting. Contour bunding is a very essential activity in this region for water harvesting. Again, labor can be used for making those bunds and all those structures. So all of the watershed management structures like pond, nadi, khadeen, contour farming, contour bunding, all those structures we can very well effectively use NREGA labors partly for construction of the activity. They can play a very important role to meet the water requirement of this region.
थैंक यू पोपट राव जी, आपके पास आ रहे हैं ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, जो आप ये बताइए, ये जो आपने जो हिवरे बाजार का मॉडल आपने बनाया, तो ये मॉडल आपके आसपास में कहाँ रेप्लिकेट हुआ है, और आपको लगता है कि ये सारे जो आपका रेन शैडो एरिया है उसमें आपको ये मॉडल आप रेप्लिकेट कर सकते हैं, स्केल अप कर सकते हैं?
सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट यही है का रेप्लिकेशन का ही सवाल हर जगह पे आ जाता है। तो महाराष्ट्र में जो मॉडल विलेज प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, जो पहले आदरणीय पद्म भूषण अन्ना हजारे जी उस कमेटी के प्रेसिडेंट रहे। 2008 में वही प्रोग्राम में हिवरे बाजार गांव बना था। अभी 2008 से मैं वो स्टेट लेवल कमेटी का एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रेसिडेंट। इसी अनुभव से महाराष्ट्र के हर ड्राउट प्राउन डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 5 मॉडल गांव बनाने का प्रोग्राम है। तो वो स्टेट लेवल कमेटी का प्रेसिडेंट मैं हूँ। स्टेट लेवल का बजट है, उसको पुणे में ऑफिस है। तो महाराष्ट्र में 100 से ज्यादा गांव काफी अच्छे मॉडल बन गए। का जो पहले एक जमाने में जैसा लातूर में ट्रेन से पानी आया था, तो अभी वो उस गांव में पानी कोई समस्या नहीं।
तो अब मैं एक क्वेश्चन देख रही थी कि रीच टू वैली,
हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 5 मॉडल गांव बन रहे। दूसरा एक आमिर खान जी ने जो पानी फाउंडेशन चला है महाराष्ट्र में, करीबन 22,000 विलेजेस में वाटर कप का काम हुआ है। उसमें आमिर जी खुद हिवरे बाजार में आके गए। वो स्टेट लेवल पे जो कमेटी है, जो फाइनल गांव सिलेक्शन, वो मेरे अध्यक्षता में है। तो महाराष्ट्र में करीबन 22,000 गांव में यह रिप्लिकेट हुआ। उसमें से अभी 500 विलेजेस ऐसे वो फार्मर कप के लिए अभी कॉम्पीट कर रहे। उसमें सीड सोइंग से लेके मार्केटिंग तक का प्लान है।
पोपट राव जी, मैं ये देख रही थी, एक किसी ने क्वेश्चन किया है, अभी क्वेश्चन आंसर के लिए हम लोग खोल रहे हैं। तो क्वेश्चन देखा मैंने, एक किसी ने राजेश जी ने पूछा है कि रीच टू वैली अप्रोच अभी भी चल रहा है कि स्टिल बीइंग फॉलोड इन गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम्स। तो आपका ये जो आंसर है, आपको ये राजेश जी को मिल गया होगा आंसर, क्योंकि आप बोल रहे हैं कि स्टेट फंड है जिसमें ये फॉलो हो रहा है। तो और 2 एक क्वेश्चंस हम लोग ले लेते हैं। ये राठौर जी के लिए है, डॉक्टर राठौर। एज श्री राठौर पॉइंटेड आउट, the local tradition systems of access to water is based on local geology and other conditions. It is difficult for centralized system as per government norms to cover all system. So, sir, do you find it, sir, if you can see your question answer box, local community participation is necessary. So, as you were telling that local community participate, yes, sir, please.
इसमें I think there is one good sign for rejuvenating groundwater is that government of Rajasthan is coming up with a groundwater conservation and management bill 2024 recently, and it will be put up in assembly this year. The second thing is when you the other program like Ghar Ghar Nal, which is again working against these traditional systems, traditional structures, because people think that now water, it is the government responsibility, it will come, why should we care for the traditional sources? But and the second point is that traditional sources are being neglected also because the quality of water. Now people are more conscious about the quality of water. They don't want to have a contaminated water like nitrate or fluoride or brackish water. So the traditional water sources mostly being used for animal husbandry, I mean the livestock, not for human beings. Now they want government supply water mostly. So that is one reason. But I think the question is, can we replicate Hibre Bazaar or even Rajendra Singh's model? They are location specific, geological specific. So one should not expect that they can be replicated everywhere. If I take the model, Rajendra Singh model in Western Rajasthan, it is not possible because there is a hard rock and brackish water down and all those things. So that scope is very limited, and it has to be location specific activities and interventions rather than generalizing, which government does, that a program comes and then it has to be replicated everywhere, which is not possible. Water is a very location specific thing, water management. So I think like our Junjunu area where our exploitation is around 300%, and it is a alluvial soil and there are sand dunes, and people are drilling deeper and deeper. So their solution is totally different, and rainfall is very limited. So I think then there is a only solution is external water supply. How long that can be there, from where they will bring, how much cost it will be there, and people are not ready to pay anything. They want everything free. Like Popotlal is saying that they don't want doles, and government is distributing doles. So it is actually demotivating community participation.
Okay. So, I think you have answered the question of Ayush Mishra ji. So, Ayush Mishra ji, I think you have got your answer. So, right now, we end our discussion. It's very interesting. It can go on and on. But we all agree to this point that there will be now less number of rainy days, and there is a need to actually catch this rain runoff, so that we can have a sustainable source of water. And also the community participation is very important. Community lies at the center of it. And when Dr. Goel was talking about Taka, Khadin, contour banding, and all this traditional knowledge is very important to revive those knowledge. And because as Dr. Rathod was telling that this village water use association is not active, which needs to be active, and so our traditional wisdom is getting destroyed. We should understand that as Kazri is working very hand in hand with the farmers, helping them improvise the traditional knowledge, helping them to make their structures more sustainable. We need to work, Yasser will come back to you, we need to work very closely with the communities, helping them with the new knowledge, and also making the communities the center point of all of them. And we all agreed that MGNREGA can be a very potential source of funding for this, because as Dr. Goel was telling that Taka, Khadin, contour banding, these are the areas where MGNREGA's fund can be used very effectively. So with Dr. Rathod, we'll close this session. Sir, 1 point, sir.
I just want to mention one very important point, that people generally, or government and people, think that surface water is different and groundwater is different. The separate departments and management is different. It is same. It is rainfall. If you impound it, it is surface water. It goes down, and even base flows are very important. The same water becomes the river water. What you call, is it surface or groundwater? It is both. River water means it somewhere, the base flow is responsible for running rivers. So you cannot have separate departments and then measure, okay, it is groundwater department's problem to how to manage it. No, it has to be surface water, groundwater has to be integrated and commonly managed, rather than having a separate system. Thank you.
Thank you, experts. Thank you very much. This is how we unwrap this COP16 UNCCD, the consensus, the key takeaways, and we learn from our experts that what is necessary for India and what funds and programs are at this point important for actually reviving our traditional wisdom, bringing back water using this indigenous knowledge, and using the potential fund like MGNREGS. Thank you, everyone.